Hi, this is Brother Richard. We're continuing in our series, What is God? Today we want to take a look at God the Creator. The scripture has quite a lot to say about God's characteristic creation. And first and foremost, it tells us that whatever God creates, He creates in wisdom. The creation has a purpose, a function. Now, Scripture also tells us that God creates in one of two ways. He can speak His creation into being through His Word, or He can construct His creation through material sources. In the book of Job, we read that God constructed the earth in this universe, and He constructed it for a purpose. So we find that everything that God creates, God also sustains. In other words, there's nothing that God brings into being that is not capable of functioning. God is a perfectionist, and God creates perfection, beauty. God creates wholesomeness. We find that the scripture teaches that what God created was brought into a state of corruption, unfortunately, but God understood this would be the case, and He allowed it for a purpose and for a time. The Bible tells us that everything that God has created one day is going to be restored to a wholesome state of perfection. And those that desire to understand God's purpose in His creation will be allowed to have a beautiful understanding and have a participation in ultimately administering God's masterpiece of a creation. God will bring together all things and make them work to a state of perfection.